you that don't know me, my name is Katelyn Fulton with Century 21 Percy Fulton, and today we're going to be doing the Advanced Database Series Part 2. And if you are on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, so let's go over the agenda for today. So I'm going to go a little bit over what we did last week. So if you guys didn't attend, we're going to go over that a little bit more. We're going to break down the database. So we talked all about your database, how to grow it, how to start it. And so today I'm going to break it down even more and how to actually communicate and prospect to your database. And we're going to break it down into 3 different categories. I'm going to go over the math of why it's important to have a really major focus on your database and when it comes to dollar amounts, so that you can really put it into perspective why I'm teaching you guys this and why I think it's so important for you guys to really focus in on this. So if I put the math and how much money you can actually make from your database, maybe it'll kind of encourage you guys a little bit more. I'm going to talk about tales from the streets and what our experienced agents are doing. And then after that, we're going to go into the other 20% of your business. So we did talk about how much business is coming from your database, which is typically about 80 to 86%. And then I'm going to talk about the other 20% that you guys can be working on. So I'm only going to be talking specifically on 2 different prospecting activities, which I think is the most common and easy to use prospecting. If you have questions on the other prospecting activities, let me know and I will talk about it. So we'll see how much time we have, but I didn't want to go dive too deep into all of the prospecting because there is thousands of ways to grow your business. So if there is something that you really have been curious about, I will talk about that as well. I have slides for it, but I hid them all just to see how much time we've got to talk about it. Okay, so part 1 review. So we talked about how 80% of your business should be coming from your database. And the database typically is just a list. It's just a list of your clients, friends, family, past clients, referral partners. 86% of your business should come from this. What we encourage you guys to do is write out a list of every single person that you know in your life, reach out to them, ask them for their phone number, their email address, their mailing address, and all that good stuff, and then put it into your CRM. I know a lot of agents, it does take time for this. I feel like if you're in like your 3rd to 5th year, I feel like this is where it really starts to absorb a little bit better. If you're in your 1st year, you may be like, I have no one to put on my database, and you may not actually do anything about it yet. It may take you a couple of years from now, you may hear me do the same presentation, and that's when it's going to click. And I always know that sometimes you're just not ready to receive the type of knowledge that I'm giving you yet, and that's okay, but it's something that the earlier you do start to implement it, the better. But 80% of your time and your income and the money that you spend on advertising should be spent on your database. So if you ask me today, if you have $10,000 just lying around, what you should do with it, I don't think it should be spent towards like random flyers. I don't think it should be spent on online leads. I think it should really be spent on going out for dinners, coffees, sending mail outs, gifts, like things to the people that you know. And that's how you're really going to grow. Halloween's right now, so we recommended even sending chocolates to people like your friends, your family, reminding them you're in the business. So there's little things that you guys could be spending your money on for just your friends and family. If you're brand new in the business and no one's bought a house through you yet, this is still where I would recommend putting your money, is sending it to your friends and family. If you've done business before, it should be sent on your past clients. So people will work with you. We talked about this again last week, why you would get referrals. And that's typically because people know you, like you, and trust you. That's one of the reasons why people would work with you. The other reason is people may refer business to you because they want to receive business from you as well. So we talked about the core 100, which is giving business to people that are part of the real estate transaction, such as mortgage brokers, insurance brokers, inspectors, all those people that are part of the real estate transaction, and as well as other businesses. So like car mechanics, hairdressers, all like getting your nails done, your lashes done. These are all people that you should be telling, hey, if I send business your way, will you give me business back? And that's how we're going to start to grow that core 100. So I gave you guys a list of hundreds of different businesses that you guys can recommend. So again, for my new guys, if you don't have a huge database or you don't have past clients, you could start to grow that core 100. And these are just business people that you can start to build relationships with. So that's what we talked about last week. So if it's all sounding very different, I recommend that you go back and watch that part 1 and then get familiar with all of these things. Okay, so for today, we're going to talk about a little bit more on how to actually target your database. So now that you've got your list of people going, you've got a little bit of an idea of types of things you want to send out to them. I'm going to teach you guys how to actually break down your database a little bit into types of clients. If you're an experienced agent, you should start to be able to categorize them. I know hearing this as a new agent back when I used to go to the Buffini events, Richard Robbins, Chris Leader, I was like, well, everyone's an A client to me because I don't have any other clients. So everyone's an A client. But once you start to get into the business, like Alex, you've been in the business for a while, you may now actually start to know who your A, B, C clients are. Same with Chad, Steve, you guys all have a number of clients that you guys can start to break it down. So this may actually resonate with you a little bit more than maybe it did a couple years ago. We're going to come up with a 12-month plan of what to do. And then again, I'm going to talk about 2 other sources of business that you guys can be working on. Okay, so let's break down your database. So you've got your list of people that you know. I want you guys to take some time afterwards to break these down into A clients, B clients, and C clients. If you go to another coaching event, you may even see a category of D clients, but I think that just kind of complicates it a little bit. So we're just going to keep it in these 3 tiers. And it sounds kind of weird to actually start to categorize people into topics, like your friends and family and stuff, but you'll start to see why we do this. So your A clients are going to be basically someone who has bought and sold a house with you, has referred at least one person to you, and there's a high chance of more referrals without actually asking. These people just give you business. They keep giving you referrals. It could also be someone that is highly connected, or maybe they own a company, they know a lot of people, which can actually help you grow your business. So again, this could be one of those core 100 people that are just very well connected. I know Steve, you probably know ton. I always recommend Steve knows a lot of people. So connecting with people that know a lot of people is really going to help your business as well. But also don't forget to work with people that you actually like working with. So someone you have good chemistry with, if they call you, you're okay to pick up your phone. If this person calls you all the time and you're like, oh, like I don't want to talk to them, or you hated working with them, they're probably not going to be an A client for you. And I see some people laughing right now because I know you know what I'm talking about. Your B clients, these are going to be people that have probably bought and sold a house with you. There's a good chance that they may refer you, but they haven't yet. And that you have a good working chemistry with. So you really did enjoy working with them, but they haven't quite referred business to you, but they potentially could. And then you've got your C clients. So these are clients that have possibly done a transaction with you. It was either a buy or sell, but these clients were a lot of work. It was not a good working experience. They didn't listen to you. They just were not a good person. Whenever your phone would ring, you'd be like, oh my gosh, like you get anxiety from thinking about talking to these people. And there's probably a pretty low chance of referrals. I still want to keep these people in our database, but these are not going to be people that you're going to focus your energy on. Any questions on these 3 categories? Do you guys all relate to this? Probably. I see some heads nodding. Okay, so how do we work with each of these categories? So the C clients, again, these are the ones that you may not want to work with, but you have done transactions with. These are people that you just want to keep on your monthly database plan. So you're just sending them newsletters and your greetings cards. So whatever that automated communication you have, possibly on your CRM, you're just going to keep them on that. And there's no real further work needed. They're just getting little reminders from you, but you're not going to do anything else. Your B clients, so again, haven't referred you, but have worked with you before, but you liked working with them, and there's a potential that they may actually refer business to you. You also want to keep these guys on your monthly database plan, so newsletters, greetings cards, and you want to call them 3 to 4 times a year. I'm going to talk about power hour. So I want you guys to even have a time block in your week where there's a power hour where you're going to follow up with clients, and it's just dedicated to following up with people like this. And if you don't know what to say, some people have anxiety about calling people, texting them because they don't know what to say. They don't want to sound salesy, but you're just checking in with them. Always go back to frog. So talk about their family, recreation, what are they up to, any sports, what kind of things have they been enjoying, how's work going, what kind of occupations, talk about their work, and then talk about their goals. And these could be real estate goals, if they've got any, if they want to purchase some more investment properties, or what are their goals for the future. And then all you're going to say is, I'm looking at growing my business. Do you know anyone looking to buy or sell? So you could have a pretty strong script on this, but I'd say just keep it easy. This could be just like a 10-minute phone call and then end it. I'm going to talk a little bit about my introverts, because this probably freaks you out if you're an introvert. So I'm going to give you guys some other things that you can do as well for these people. So that's your B client. And then your A clients, these are your best clients. They do transactions with you. They may do multiple transactions with you, and then they're consistently referring business to you. These guys you want to keep on your monthly database plan, but they also need to know how much you appreciate their support. So you need to consistently remind them how grateful you are for their business, and that they are your favorite clients. Tell them, you are my A client. You're one of my favorite clients. You're one of the most valuable clients, and remind them how much they do support you. Take these guys to lunch. So these guys may not actually be a phone call every quarter. These may just people you go to lunch with, you grab coffee with. If there's a family event, or maybe they have a business and they invited you to a client appreciation event, these are the guys that you want to go see in person and actually build connections with that way. And you always want to be on top of mind with them. Now, A clients, I would say honestly, just have 10. Like you don't need to have 50, 100 A plus clients. You may only have 2. So if you're just taking 2 people out for lunch a couple times a year, it's not that hard to maintain. So you're mostly going to have probably B clients, and then you're only going to have a few A clients. And like I said, at the beginning of your career, and I remember going through this as well, everybody was my A client. Everybody got gifts from me. Everybody got pumpkins. Everybody got pop buys. Everybody was special to me. And then eventually your business starts to grow a little too much that pop buys become exhausting. Like they tire you out. I know I've got a couple people here that have done pop buys, and they haven't done them since because they burnt themselves out by sending like 50 people gifts and going to their door. I know I did it with wrapping paper. Was it like 3 years ago? I took wrapping paper to 50 houses to say, thanks for helping us wrap up a great year. Your referrals are great. And going to 50 houses, it'll shock you how much draining that does. Like actually Mo is one of them. Mo, have you done a pumpkin drop off since that one day? It burns you out. Yes. So if you are going to do stuff like that and you have a huge client base, I would recommend having them come to you. So if you're going to do a pumpkin drop off, maybe do it at the office and have a day where your clients actually come to you, and then you're not burning yourself out and you're inviting all of your A, B's, and C clients. But your A clients, you only have a few. So don't burn yourself out with these guys. You're not going to have a huge amount of them. Any questions on these guys? No? Good. Perfect. So let's talk about the communication with these A clients. Again, these are clients that want to refer you, especially if they're celebrated for it. And we always say, if someone refers you, don't wait for closing to celebrate them or thank them. Don't wait till the deal's done. As soon as they throw your name out there to their friend, you should be sending them something, whether it's a thank you card. I've got a whole bunch of ideas here, but you should be thanking them as soon as that referral comes in, whether it works out or not. They should be celebrated and rewarded for that behavior so that they continue to do that. So it could be as simple as a handwritten card, just saying, thank you for being one of my A clients. I appreciate your business. It can be that cheap, that simple. Go get some cards that have your name on it. You could put your business card on it, but on the back of it, you could have it branded with your name on it. And then I don't even know how much mail costs, but it's probably under $1 now. And you just mail it out. And the girls downstairs can do it for you as well. Again, let them know that you care about them the most, about your 10 A clients, and that they are one of them. Highly reward the referral. So you can do like nights away at a hotel, or maybe you want to send them like a gift card to a really nice restaurant. Maybe you take them to the restaurant. So there's a bunch of really nice things that you can do for these types of people to celebrate them. And again, let them know that they're in one of your top referral clients, you could even rank them and say, you are my number 3 referral source, and I'm so grateful for you. So like, let them know where they rank, and maybe they are competitive and want to be like your number 1 referral source. And again, set a budget for each of these clients. I would say a minimum of $250 per client. So you want to give them a good amount. And then again, always show your grateful attitude towards them. Okay, so here's the math. So if we want to break it down and why it's important, maybe it'll make a little bit more sense when you see how much money these people will give to you. So an A client can typically be on a 5-year cycle. These guys may not be with you for the rest of your life, but if you have a good A client, they could be very good to you for 5 years. So they may list and buy every 5 years. So let's say it's an average $12,000 gross commission on each side. That's $24,000 from that client that you're going to receive. Now, if these guys refer 2 referrals per year, a buy and a sell, that's $24,000 times 5 years. Over 5 years, that's $120,000 in your pocket just from this one client. Every 5 years, $145,000, so $29,000 per year. And if you have 10 A+ clients, that's $290,000 per year. So just under $300,000 if you guys can get 10 really good clients that refer you a couple of people every year. So this is why I'm really into the database, and this is why I heavily encourage you guys to really focus on your database, the people you know, that core 100, your past clients, because they have a lot of money to give to you versus a complete stranger that you met at an open house and doesn't know who the heck you are. Once you start to get them into your A+ clients, they can really reward you. I know I've got Elio in the room. I'm going to put Elio on the spot. You've been in the business for a while. You probably have a good amount of A+ clients over the years, and they've probably rewarded you quite well. And how, like, where would you suggest a new agent puts their business? Would you say the same?
A clients.
A clients. And you too, Irene, you've been in the business for a while. Same thing. Database is your main source of business, right? So these guys have been doing it for a while. This is not something I've created. This is not new news or anything. This is stuff that we just know from experienced agents over the years, going to networking events, conferences, meeting other agents that are being successful. I guarantee every single one of them will tell you that most of their business comes from their database. So if you've been putting it off a little bit, or you get too busy or too lazy, I'd stop. Stop working on the flyers. Stop working on these random like little signs that you're going to put out, or your business card logo. Start to focus on this CRM and getting people onto that. Once you've got it going, it's very simple to keep it up. Okay, so a little bit of tales from the streets. I know I already put some of our experienced agents on the spot there, but again, the A clients can be very hard to find. But when you do find them, often these guys are well connected. Typically, they do already have a real estate agent. I bet everybody has a real estate agent. But don't let that stop you. So just because they have one, or their spouse is, maybe not their spouse because they may go with them, but if they've got like a friend that's a real estate agent, that's going to be a high chance. Everyone has a real estate agent that you know, but that doesn't mean you can't be their real estate agent either. So where can you find these clients? So typically these are going to be people such as bankers, tradespeople that are actually working with real estate quite often, home renovators. Sometimes buyers and sellers start to renovate their homes before they actually put it on the market. So these people are actually inside the house, and they may message you and be like, hey, this person was talking about buying and selling. They're interviewing agents right now. You should call them. So you want to get in with people like this. Developers are huge. Typically, they're not just doing one project, they're developing a lot. So if you can get in with a developer, the way you can do that is literally drive through neighborhoods. You may see some construction zone happening in the suburbs. They always have a gate, they always have a sign, and it usually says who the developer is on there. Just call them. Just say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I live in the area and I saw your sign. I'd love to work for you. Investment advisors, so people that are working in the bank, they're typically talking to people that are talking about their finances before they purchase a home, and they want to go over their finances and how they could save for a house. So these are good people to get connected with. And again, business owners and any type of business owner. So you want to target your relationships with these people. And again, they may already have a realtor, but over time, you really do have to prove yourself. So don't just stop at that one introduction. You want to continuously remind them of you and get them on your mailing list, pop by, do your calls, and really put yourself out there. Okay, power hour. So a lot of us get really busy and we forget to do these things. We're like, oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time to call these people. I don't have time to connect with anyone. So what I would suggest is creating a power hour, and you can even call it power hour. And all you're doing is time blocking. And this is where you're going to have your power hour of either phone conversations, messages, email, whatever your style is. This is going to be your hour, and then put it on your schedule. So I would typically recommend maybe doing once a week for 1 hour. That's it. And it could be, I would say, pick your happiest hour, which could typically probably be Fridays. Like, what day do you feel the best on? Do you want to wait for Friday because the weekend's coming, get it out, and then you get to enjoy the weekend? Or maybe you want to do it on Mondays, right in the smack at the beginning of the week, get it all out of the way. Either way, just select 1 hour per week and how many times you want to call that client per year. Define who you're going to be calling once a week. So don't just like show up on Monday or Friday and say, okay, who should I be calling? I would always have it planned of who you're going to contact that week. And the way you can actually do that is take your entire database and divide it by 11. So if you've got 100 people, divide it by 11, and then you've already sectioned off your list into, like, say, maybe you're calling 10 people a week. And so every week you're just going to call that section of people, and then you're going to repeat it. And you, by repeating that or doing the 11, you should be able to call people at least 3 times a year if you're doing it on a schedule. So this is how you can really organize yourself. Who are you calling? What are you asking? So you're asking for business. And so all you have to say is, I'm looking at expanding my business. Do you know anyone looking to buy or sell real estate? It doesn't have to be cheesy. Doesn't have to be scripted. It can just be in your own words. There is scripts for this, but I think a lot of people try to get away from the scripts because they want it to be more themselves. So just have a good conversation. These are already people that you know and work with. You're not calling someone you hated. So remember, the C list, they're out. You're not following up with them. You're not calling them. These are people that have done business with that you liked working with, or people that are your A clients that are referring business. So they want to hear from you as well. Perfect. So that's going to end our database part. So again, identify who your clients are, give your attention and your finances to your A clients, and then be strategic with who you want your clients to be and target the right people. Anyone have questions on all of that? No? Anyone online? Let's see. Okay. Perfect. So we're all ready for databases and perfecting that. Good. Okay, so that's your 80% of your business is going to come from those people. So let's not forget about the other 20%. So where's that other 20% coming from? There's a lot. And this honestly is where most, especially brand new agents, focus way more of their attention on than they do on the 80%. And this is where, if you are stagnant, this is probably why. So if you find business is slow, it's probably because you're focusing on this stuff that gets you 20% of the business and not the stuff that's getting you the 80%. So let's talk about why prospecting for new business is important. So new business, what I mean by that is people that you don't know, complete strangers off the street, whether you're calling them or they're calling you. These are people that you would have never met any other way other than doing these activities. Now, prospecting to strangers is not easy for most agents because it is a process that is filled with a lot of rejection. So this is why a lot of people get away from it, because all they think about is those people telling them to screw off, go away, don't want to talk to you. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm never doing that activity again. But that's just part of the process, unfortunately, because you are a salesperson and these are complete strangers who know nothing about you. So it is filled with a lot of rejection. But consistent and efficient prospecting is really going to help ensure that you have a steady stream of clients. And without doing this, basically your entire client base can eventually disappear. So if you're not doing any activities where you're trying to build your business, especially if you're not doing the database, that's one thing. But if you're also not prospecting, you're not going to have a client base because you're not refilling it. So helping more clients is going to help you remain busier. And it's also going to help diversify the risks of lost sales. And so when you lose a client, you're going to have more waiting. So how many of my new agents or even experienced, how many of you guys have worked with a client for so long and then they decided not to do anything? They decided not to buy or sell. I'm going to assume there's a lot of us, right? And how much of your attention did you guys give to those clients and then lost focus of getting more clients? Probably a few. I see some head nods.
Where you feel drained, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of them that are even deleted from my list, right?
Yes.
It's too big, yeah, then they just call me.
Yeah,
so,
they always come back.
Do I get the email? Do I tell you I forgot your I misplaced your email or something like that? So always keep those maybe like a separate place, right? Because
exactly.
Always call back here.
Exactly.
I mean, I find it draining.
It's very draining. Yeah. And these people will probably be the ones that call you the most.
Yeah.
They want to see the most houses. They want to see houses that second. They take up a lot of energy, and then all of a sudden they don't buy or sell with you. And then you're left with 0 clients because you spent every piece of energy and focus on that client.
They tell you all their problems.
Yeah, you become their therapist. It's a whole ordeal, and it sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's a hard lesson that every one of us is going to experience. And it does take some experience before you learn to just get more clients. And that's always the solution. Whenever we have an agent that has this draining client, my solution is always to find more clients, because at least you'll be distracted with other things. And then if this guy just decides to not buy or sell with you, you already have, say, 4 other buyers that are ready to go. So you're always replenishing it. I always recommend having 5 active clients at the same time, whether they're buying, selling, or leasing. You should always have 5 active people, because at least one of them should be going. So if all of a sudden one buys, you should replenish it with a new one. So always be actively looking for multiple clients, whether they're motivated or not. Don't focus on one client at a time, because either they're going to decide not to buy or sell, or they bought and then you got to restart again. And then you got to be like, okay, they bought and now closing's in 2 months, but now I have no one else. So it becomes this huge cycle. So if you guys put prospecting in your business every day, you should always be replenishing new clients so that you're never in this drought. So I know there's a lot of agents that have been talking to me about how slow business is and all of that. And it's not necessarily a leads issue. It's typically a prospecting issue, because you're not prospecting, and that's why you're slow. And that's in any market. I know agents that they're busy right now. They've got 5, 6 clients running right now, and they're in the same market as you are. So if you find that you don't have any clients right now and you're slow, you probably ask yourself, like, seriously, are you prospecting? Have you been reaching out to people? Are you trying to find new clients? Whether they're ready to go right now, this should be something that you guys should really seriously consider. Okay, so there's 2 different ways of prospecting. So we've got your active prospecting and we've got passive prospecting. Active prospecting is generating new clients through outreach or outbound communication. Typically, this would be like things such as cold calling. So you're reaching out to people. It's an activity that you can measure. So like, how many calls does it take until this person becomes a lead, or how many doors do I have to knock to get a lead? So it's an activity that you have control over, that you can measure, the results you can track. It usually requires less money, but more time. So again, door knocking and calling. These are free activities that cost a lot of time, but not a lot of money. And you can measure it. The other one is passive prospecting. I would almost call this marketing more than I would prospecting, but this is a marketing thing. So this is typically where you're doing activities where you're waiting for people to actually react and reach out to you. It typically requires more money, but less time, and can usually run on autopilot. So these could be things such as like a billboard or flyers, social media. But this is considered passive, where you're just putting stuff out there, hope something sticks and someone reaches out to you. Now, the common problem, and you can let me know if I'm wrong, but most agents I find focus mostly on passive marketing. Could we agree with that? Most of us are relying on doing those things where people reach out to us, right? Social media, flyers, online ads, all that type of stuff. And this is where that stagnant growth comes from. So you're relying way too much on your audience to approach you as opposed to reaching out to them. So if you find, again, your business is slow, you may have to add an active prospecting activity in there as well. So again, active prospecting, and we're not going to talk about all of these, but if there is one on these lists that you want me to talk about, let me know at the end and I will go over it for sure. So the active, again, is cold calling, text messaging or direct messaging. This could be on Instagram, Facebook, where you're actually DMing people, video email directly to people, door knocking, open houses, and networking events. The passive prospecting is social media, websites or online leads. So like agent locator, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, podcasting, email, drip campaigns, direct mail, farming, and sign calls. So these are two different things. So what I recommend is you have 3 different pillars, and we'll talk about that on the next slide, I believe. But what I want you to do is before you pick which 2 techniques, so I would pick one active and passive, but before you decide who your ideal client is and what techniques actually speak to your personality. So if the cold calling freaks you out and you know you're going to go into work every day and you're going to hate it, do not do it. Like, don't do something you hate doing because you will not do it. It doesn't mean you can't do any prospecting. You just have to pick a prospecting activity that speaks to your personality. I know some cold callers that they're great at it and they like it. Stick to it. I know door knockers love it. Keep doing it. If introvert, you may resort to more direct messaging and online platforms versus the in-person. So using one active and one passive is really going to help keep that pipeline full so that you're not panicking when you're slow or when business dries up. You're always going to be talking to people every day. Okay, so do you guys know what introvert, extrovert is? Or does anyone not know what that means? It's okay if you don't. So our introverts, who's an introvert here, if you know what the definition is? Okay, I probably have a lot, to be honest. Where are my extroverts? I know Santa is an extrovert. Perfect. So an introvert is typically someone that regains their energy. It's not necessarily in your personality. It doesn't mean, if you're an introvert, it doesn't mean that you're shy or that you don't have a big personality. It means that you gain your energy from being alone or not being around big groups of people. Whereas extroverts like Sanic would gain his energy from being in a big room of people. That like brings life to him. So we're 2 separate people. I have a bigger personality, but I'm a super introvert. Someone can have like a big personality, but also want to be alone. Big personalities could be quiet. Quiet people could be extroverts. So don't mix it up with what your personality type is. But if you're an introvert and you like to be alone, online marketing may be where you're at, or you may be very good behind a screen. Not saying that you're not doing anything behind the screen, but you may be very good at doing the online leads, social media, being behind a camera, not necessarily in front of human beings, email marketing, direct mail, video email, DMing people. So if you're an introvert, you really may want to consider these online activities because that may match your personality a little bit better. If you're an extrovert, so you love being around people, you may consider doing things like cold calling, I feel like cold calling can go for both, but anyways, cold calling, open houses, door knocking, and networking events. So if you're an extrovert, these are typically your activities. So really look inside yourself of what works best for your personality as well.
Can I backtrack a little
Yeah.
bit? The sign calls. I think I know what it is.
Yeah. Sign calls is when you're a listing agent. So if you're a listing agent, you have a for sale sign. People, this is why we always say list to last, because when you have a listing, you have a for sale sign that people will call. You've got realtor.ca leads coming into you from online. Your face is out there for marketing for the neighborhood. But yeah, sign call would be like, hey, I saw your listing. Can I come take a look? So they're prospective buyers. So if you're a listing agent, this is a very strong way to build your business because of those calls that are coming in. You can get quite a lot of leads that way. So if you've been considering buying agent and listing agent, that's why we always say that list to last. Yeah. So top 3 prospecting. So we already talked about your sphere of influence and your database, but today I want to focus on open houses and geographical farming. I never thought I would focus on these things because I'm obsessed with social media. That's a major platform that I love, but I know that it's not everyone's strong suit. So open houses and geographical farming, when I talk to top agents, or I've heard people on the stage and heard what brings in their business, these are always the top 3 ways that agents have grown their business. They're very old school ways, nothing new, but I'll show you why these 3 are very powerful if these become your 3 prospecting activities that you incorporate. If open houses or geographical farming isn't one of them, then I would say add in a different pillar from those other ones that I listed. But today we're just going to talk about those. You shut that. Okay, open houses. Who's done an open house? Perfect. Anyone not done an open house before? And it doesn't have to be your own listing. These could be for other agents. Now I'm noticing, I'm glad they're back. Otherwise I wouldn't be talking about them, but during COVID, they went away and it was very unfortunate for our new agents because it's a really great way to grow your business. It's a strong way to prospect because people are passively coming into the house. That's one of the ways, but you can also add in some active prospecting with it, such as door knocking, calling, and texting. So you're almost taking one pillar, but it actually includes like 4 other pillars as well. So that's why I really love this one. And it's a really great way to meet not only buyers that are coming in, not working with other agents, but there's a good chance that the neighbors are going to come in as well, which are potential sellers. So that's why I love open houses. And if you're a brand new agent, you should be actively looking for open houses to do. Just so if you guys see every day, we get that email list of new listings. You guys should be reaching out to those listing agents and say, hey, I'm an agent in the brokerage. Can I host your open house for you? This is how I would do it. If I was brand new or looking for a business, I would be working weekends. Every Saturday, Sunday, I would be doing open houses if I was slow and not doing much. So open houses, what content do you bring? So typically you would bring some sort of value piece, whether you're bringing sellers packages, buyers packages. Most important is the sign-in sheet. And what do you do with those prospects after? So you should have a sign-in sheet. We always say it's for security, but it's not. It's actually for you to grow your database. It's for you to get an email address, a name, a phone number, so that you can actually prospect to these people and stick them onto your database. So this is a whole new way of meeting complete strangers. And granted, some open houses are going to be slow. You're not always going to have success, but the more open houses you do, the more successful you will do. I know Michael's been doing quite a bit, and Michael will actually end up putting in an offer from an open house, probably like, what, 50% of the time? Yeah. So you get to put in offers typically, which is very strong, whether it works out or not, you got an active client from that. So if you've been considering it, and they're not always busy, like he's been to like empty ones where no one comes, but or he'll have ones that are busy. So you just got to do both. Yes. Or you can do TikToks in that open house when you're bored.
Yes, to open house, I would suggest that because some of them do give you wrong phone number, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if they don't have agent, give them a business card.
Yes.
That, I mean, they can call you.
Yeah, you're going to get wrong information, probably like from a few at least, whether it's phone number or email address, or they'll like write their phone number or their email and it'll like mess up the letter, like so you can't read it. It's going to happen. You could also do it digitally. The other way that you can get around it is, hey, I've got feature sheets. What's your email address? I'll send it to you right now. And then you get their email on the spot. So there is ways where you can maybe write it down for them. But you're right. There's going to be people putting in the wrong ones, but there's going to be people that put in the right ones as well. So the ways to run an open house, don't just, if you're going to do the open houses, don't just run an open house and just show up at like 1:55 right before the open house, sit there at 4 o'clock, lights are off and you're out. If you're going to do the open house, you want to do it properly. So the way to do this is to send invites to the neighbors before. You could door knock the area or send flyers, and these are invitations. So you could door knock like 20 doors before the open house, say, hey, I'm having an open house from 2 to 4. I'd love if you could come. Neighbors want to go to the open house, but they'll feel even more invited if you actually directly invite them. And then they don't feel like they're like tiptoeing and being a nosy neighbor because you invited them to it. Make it an event. So have directional signs, flags, sign toppers, balloons. I've heard of people having ice cream trucks, funnel trucks, like make a big event out of this, especially if it's going to be a hot listing that you know is going to bring in a lot of attention. Get that ice cream truck and invite all the neighbors. Say, I'm having an ice cream truck and open house. Come go through the house, and then when you're done, grab a ticket, go get some ice cream with the kids. So make an event out of this. Have music, refreshments. Is there anything that you guys could give out? Whether you have notepads with your branding on it, magnets, calendars, pens, there's like branded stuff that you guys could give out as well, or swag bags. And I highly recommend having a checklist as well of all of these things. So whenever you have a checklist, be like, okay, did I get my signs ordered? Did I do this? Did I do that? Have a checklist at all times, and then have those extra materials in your car as well. So that if you are going to run a random open house, you already have it ready to go. Have a nice bin, and then you're good to go. So that's open houses. The other one is geographical farming. Does anyone not know what farming is? And that's okay. And I'm not talking about going to the farm and like milking some cows or anything like that. I don't know why they call, I guess we do know why they call it farming, but farming is basically where you're developing a business in a specific area, specific neighborhood by planting seeds. And by planting seeds, I mean you're handing out flyers, you're door knocking the neighborhood, you're putting yourself out there as the community expert. So this is a very strong way to build your business. Again, it's a very traditional way. It can be very expensive, but it can be very successful. And I will tell you, probably our top 3 teams in the brokerage do geographical farming, and it does take time. It's not something, again, that's going to get you business as soon as you send a flyer out. It's going to take a lot of consistency, and that's the key to this. So you can't just send a flyer out to this neighborhood once and say, sold a house in your area, call me. And then that's all you sent. You have to be sending them newsletter like every month, every other month, every quarter. They have to be seeing your face. How many of you guys have a realtor that always sends something to your mailbox? Probably all of you, and you guys probably know who your local realtor is. Everyone could probably name like an agent that's very in their business, and you don't even know if they have listings in your area. You could just be getting flyers from these guys and never see a for sale sign ever. But the thing is, you know who that agent is, and that's the whole point of it. You want to feel like you're like the community expert, and the whole point is to see that flyer everywhere. And I'm not saying like 100 flyers. Some of these guys are doing like 50,000 flyers. There's a lot. So it's not a couple, but it is very strong. So when you're doing this, you want to pick which area. It could be where you live, or it could be, more importantly, where a high turnover rate was. So I would say somewhere with like townhomes, new houses, like the smaller homes where first-time home buyers go, that's probably a high turnover rate. We talked about it on Realm. There is a way where you can look at a heat map, and it'll actually highlight it in red where the most turnover is. That's where I would go. I would go to a heat map, look up where the most red neighborhoods are. Then I would research, is there other real estate agents in that area or very predominant? And you can ask like any of us managers, hey, how's this agent's business? Is this someone I can compete with? Or is this someone I should even bother wasting my money on? And so go through the map, and maybe we can help you out and figure out if that's an area worth investing in. You got to decide what items you're going to be sending. So again, is it newsletters? Are you having community events? You got to decide what you want to send and what months you want to send them out on. So these things could be just listed, just sold. And then we would suggest maybe within 3 days. And so you should always have like a template somewhere on your computer, whether it's Canva, whether you're using Hub 21's marketing center, you should always have a just listed, just sold template somewhere that you could easily input it. So it's not like you're creating this new flyer every month. It should be very similar every single month, same colors, same face, same template, so that it's recognizable every time they receive it. And then you want to decide who's passing this out. So is it going to be you passing it out? Or are you going to be hiring Canada Post? I know, Ginny, you do a lot with Canada Post, right? So Ginny can help you set it up for Canada Post, where they'll actually send it out for you. Maybe you have your kids doing it, or a neighborhood kid who's going to be handing out these things for you. And then set it up on a calendar at the start of the year. So what day do you want to hand out items? And then what day do you want to create the content? So always have it planned. And again, this should mirror your database. Other things you could send are market updates, and then what type of signage will you do in the area? Perfect. Anyone have questions on those? So I was only talking about those ones. Is there any other prospecting efforts that anyone has a question about that you want me to talk about? And it could be any of those ones that I listed. Let's see if I can go back to it. Any of these ones that you want to talk about? I think I talked about quite a bit. Cold calling, texting, video, not so much on video, door knocking, open houses. Social media is a big one. Do you guys want me to touch a little bit on social and what you can be doing on that? I know we've had speakers come in. So social media could be, it has to be you. It has to be you. We need to see your face. It needs to be videos. It needs to be educational content, things that you can be educating your audience on so that you look like the expert. You need to be consistently doing it. So this is a whole consistency game. So you have to be posting every day. You have to be posting in your stories. You have to be engaging with other people. So commenting, liking, going on their stories. So creating content, basically. This isn't for everybody. So if it's like daunting about social media, don't do it, but it is a strong one. Another one is your websites and online leads. So you can pay for ads to direct people to your website to sign up for neighborhood news. That's one that's growing your database. And you're not necessarily in front of them all the time. Other things could be podcasting, speaking events. So if you guys ever get invited to be on a speaking panel or to be on a podcast, to go speak on a stage, even if you've never done it, it freaks you out. These are really good opportunities for you to put yourself out there and kind of make you known as a leader out there. And it's not necessarily just for you. It's for you to also share with your clients as well. They're like, oh, this is someone that's important. Someone wants to listen to me speak. So they'll be like, oh, over time, they're going to want to hire you because other people obviously want to listen to you. So maybe I should hire you. So these are also another part of your prospecting efforts, is being out there on a stage as well. There was another PR. If you ever get asked to be in a magazine, don't ever pay for those magazines ever. Just if you get asked to write an article and you have that opportunity, get a PR. I know Steve just did something on, was it CTV? CP24. Sometimes they send out random emails to a bunch of agents, and whoever responds quickly, it's like, can you get on camera? Was it like an hour, 2 hours? Yeah. And you sometimes just have to drop everything on the spot and say yes. Steve has ever done this before. You got on camera, you did your spiel. It's not necessarily going to give you business. No one's going to call you because you were on CP24. But if you share with your friends and family that you were on CP24, they're going to be like, oh, wow, like Steve's like this guy that everyone wants to talk to. And now they want to hire you as their agent because now you're this expert in the community. So whenever you get those opportunities, take them. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to get to systems. I know this is one of Claire's favorite things. So this is, now we got to take all of these ideas and make it into a system. So again, you're going to pick your database, an active prospecting and a passive prospecting activity, and you're going to create a system for it to make sure that you actually do it. Now, the definition of a system is basically a set of detailed methods, procedures, and routines created to carry out a specific activity, perform a duty, or solve a problem. So they're basically just regular things that you do to get crap done. So these are just tasks that you perform consistently to move towards a goal or purpose. So when you're communicating with your database, it's not groundbreaking stuff. It's you're doing these little tasks that you know will eventually turn into a transaction. So you're text messaging your friends, you're emailing, you're following up with people that came to your open house, you're following up with people that bought a house with you. These are not exciting activities. They're just emails, texts, and calls. So these are those little tasks that are going to bring you a step further to your goal. Does that make sense? Yeah. So why you need these, it's because it's going to keep your leads coming in regardless of the market conditions. So whether we're in a slow market or a fast market, you need systems. So we've just been spoiled for the last 2 years with a market that was insanely busy, and we were used to people just reaching out to us. We probably lost track of our systems, to be honest, because we were so busy. But now that everybody is slow, this is where we really need to get back into creating systems for ourselves in the slow market. So by bringing in the systems, it's going to bring consistency to your business. It's going to allow you to measure and improve on what you're doing. It's also going to give you that ability to grow and leverage your time. And I'll tell you, the most successful agents in the business have systems. Like none of these guys that are selling 100 houses a year are doing it off the fly of their seat. They know exactly what they're doing every single month, and they just consistently do it. They know it's boring. It's just a flyer every month. It's a phone call every week. It's this, it's this. They're boring activities, but they know that by consistently doing it, it's just going to consistently bring in their business. So now that we're in a slow peak, you need to really break it down into months of what you want to do each month. Break it down into weeks, break it down into days. Okay. So we're going to build a plan. So this can either be in a checklist. So maybe you're a checklist person, or it can be in a calendar form. So the checklist is going to be just for every task that you're going to be doing. Add everything to your calendar. And don't forget to plan this around the busy time. So if you have planned a vacation with your family, you're probably not going to go all heavy out on sending out all these flyers, or you're not going to go heavy on certain activities if you know you've got family time coming up. But make sure you're also planning for that so you don't forget to do those things as well, because they are important as well. Time off is what you need. If you find you're burning out, especially, vacation sometimes all you need. Claire always says if business is slow, what's the best thing you can do is book a vacation. Have we all been out, like booked a vacation and all of a sudden business starts to pick up? Do you know why? It's not because you're going on vacation. It's typically before you go on vacation, I guarantee you guys probably become very efficient. All of a sudden you're getting everything off your checklist that you've been meaning to do because you don't want to go on vacation and deal with it. You all of a sudden became efficient and you became positive. Your mindset changes. You're happy. You've got something to go. There's something to be said about that. When you're happy, you're bringing in more business, you're positive, you've got gratitude, you're about to leave. All of a sudden, people like the energy just comes towards you, but you're also getting things done. So if you just consistently do like get things done because you feel like you're going on vacation every weekend, you'd be shocked at how much business may actually come into you. Where goes the other one? Buy a car? Is that still a thing in this type of market?
Get motivated.
Get motivated. I know that was what we told Mo. Mo, when he first started, like, go buy a car. And he got busy. You got bills to pay. So don't forget to track your results. So make sure like the things that you are doing are actually bringing in business. If you are doing things and they're not, you may want to tweak things a little bit or change the direction. Don't forget to add leads to your database. So open house leads, realtor.ca leads. Maybe you're doing Kijiji leases, put those to your database. Those random online leads, make sure you're tracking those and putting them onto your database. And then again, add them to your client communication plan and then label them A, B, and C and follow your 12-month plan. So again, if they're a C client, they're just getting a newsletter, they're just getting a holiday card. If it's a B client, you may phone call these people. And if it's an A client, you may be physically seeing these people and sending them gifts. So 12 months. You guys could take a photo of this if you want. If you want to create a daily schedule, this is probably one of the most common things that agents struggle with is coming up with a daily schedule. I personally don't know if it's completely realistic because I don't know how many people have an actual like daily schedule. Probably not a lot. I think as long as you're doing the activities on this, then it's okay. But if you need that structure, this is what it should typically look like. But you should every single day add in time for finding new business, checking in on current business, so your current clients, income producing activities such as you guys should be doing showings. And if you're not actually seeing real estate, you're probably not making any money right now because that is literally our job at the end of the day is to show houses and to list houses. So if you're not actually going out there and actually seeing homes, maybe you guys should add that as part of one of your activities. Even if you have no clients with you, you guys should just be booking showings, getting to know condos, getting to know neighborhoods, doing videos, familiarizing yourself with it. Otherwise, you're just kind of coming in, doing some emails and going home and you didn't see a single house. I think it was Sanic. I'm gonna put you on the spot again. Do you still do it? I don't know. You used to make it a goal for yourself to see 40 houses a week. Not well, now you've got experience, but as a new agent, you made it a goal for yourself to see 40 houses a week, whether you were with a client or not. Sanik is like a very high producing agent as well, but that's how he got to know buildings and like neighborhoods. So if you're a new agent and you're not out there seeing houses, I know Ginny recommends it as well. Go book some showings. Go, whether you're with a client or not, make sure you're actually out there physically looking at real estate, which is what our main job is to do.
I feel like it gets you into the habit of actually, like, if you're doing that on your own, I feel like you'll start wanting to do that.
With a real live human, right? Yeah. So if you're a newbie or you haven't seen a house in a week, probably go see some houses. And marketing, of course. Okay. Now, this is another question to ask yourself. I know I'm loading you guys a lot, but there is a lot to this topic. But how many leads do you actually need? So what we've learned just from the past is 1 in 4 leads works out. So if you're working with 4 buyers right now, there's a high chance that only one of those guys is actually going to buy a house with you. So always remember that math. That's why I said I always recommend having at least 5 active clients at all times, because there's a high chance only one of those guys is really going to do something. And so if you're wasting your time with just one person and that person goes away, you just kind of dropped your chances of actually selling a house. So 1 in 4 leads will always work out. So if you want to sell 25 homes, for example, in a year, you need to have 100 leads that you're consistently staying in touch with. So it's really just that simple. And this doesn't matter if you're in a busy market or you're in a slow market. You should always have 4 active clients. And as your business grows, your tasks are going to change. So if you're an early or brand new agent, you're going to be a lot more hands-on. So you're going to be very busy doing all of these activities more than an experienced agent would do. So like I said, Sanik was busy physically out there doing showings. You're probably doing your own flyers. You're probably picking up your own lock boxes. You're picking up your own directional signs. If you're a new agent, you are doing a lot. And it's because you don't have any money yet. So you don't have money to really pay someone else to do it. So in your first few years, it's just going to be chaos of you hands on deck. You're running your own CRM. You're doing this all on your own. Eventually, you're going to become experienced. You're going to build a system, and then you're going to take that system and you're going to hire an admin staff to take on those tasks that will do those things for you, so that your only tasks should really be client facing or income producing activities. So if you're new and you're running around, that's normal, because right now you're creating your systems. If you're a high production or experienced agent, you're typically a little bit more hands off. You might be giving new agents things to do for you. They might be doing your open houses. They might be picking up lock boxes for you. There's little tasks that as you get more experience, you're doing a little bit less and you might be making more money. So your goal is to get up to that spot. So I promise it won't always be like that. And so as you grow, you want to start to evaluate what you're doing. So what is your time worth? What is your hourly rate? So take how much money you made last year, divide it by how many hours you made, and that's what your hourly rate is. So my experienced agent should be able to do that. And how much money are you making per transaction? Eventually, you want to avoid doing tasks that are worth less per hour than you are. So if you're worth $20 per hour, should you be picking up your own lock boxes or installing your own signs? Probably not. You'll probably hire somebody to do that for 20 bucks an hour. In fact, that's actually what they charge to do your signs through, was it True Signs? If you want to get a rider, like a just sold rider, just listed rider, I think it's about $21 for them to deliver it. When you're a new agent, you probably are like, I'm going to do that myself. And you're always going to the house. But eventually, you'll start to realize your time is worth a lot more money. And it makes more sense for you to be in the office prospecting than it does for you to be putting up a for sale sign. If you're worth $150 an hour, what are your tasks? It could just be content creation. It could be just making your phone calls, going on listing appointments, all of that. So if you are an experienced agent in this room, figure out what your hourly rate is and what activities you could start passing off right now. And that was a hard lesson for us. Our coach did that with us too. Okay, final thoughts. Consistency. is going to be the most important thing that you guys could do. Focus where you want your business to come from and build a system around that. And we only went over the 3 ways of generating business, but there are many, many, many other strategies, and you be as creative as you want, but there's many strategies to building your business. And create a checklist for all the activities that you do, and review this plan weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. Perfect. Any questions on all of that stuff? Yep. This one? Perfect. So I know that's a lot to absorb. I jam-packed you, but for next week, so we just finished our series and prospecting stuff. Next week, who's going to Brian Buffini? Anybody? Oh. It's all of us going. I'm trying to figure out who's going to be here. So we may not have a session next week or a live session next week. So this may actually give you a week or 2 to actually get your database in order. The ones that we were going to do next is going to be objection handling and scripts and business planning for 2023. If you want, I think you still can sign up for Buffini, and he would be a really good one, especially if you want to learn about building a referral network. That's all he talks about, is pretty much what I was talking about, but he builds on it a little bit more. I think it's $300. Or do you remember? 200 American dollars. You can still sign up. It's Brian Buffini. He's next Tuesday and Wednesday. We're all gonna be Wednesday, Thursday.
It's a Monday.
No, I think it's 2 days.
No, it's Monday. The night before is like a social.
Oh,
Yeah.
1 day event on Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, so that means we're here.
I thought Brian was, I thought it was a session.
Okay, so stay tuned then. We might be doing objection handling next week. Thank you, Steve. But anyways, I would encourage you guys, especially our new agents, if you've never been to an actual real estate coach, he's on a stage. There's thousands of real estate agents there from all over the GTA. You'll get to network. Remember, growing your network. Go meet someone in Kitchener, go meet someone in Barrie, go start to grow your network. So it's good for that. And then you're also going to pull some knowledge from it. So if you haven't signed up from Brian Buffini, I highly recommend. And
Very motivational.
it's very motivational. So you'll get some ideas. It's like this stuff, but on a stage with a performance. And then I've got a list of all the other prospecting activities here. Perfect. So that's all I've got for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I know it's a lot. If you guys want more one-on-one coaching, Ginny is here as well, and us. So if you wanted to go more over your systems, maybe you want to talk a little bit more about other activities, don't forget that you guys still have that opportunity to have that one-on-one time with us as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. And bye to our Facebook and Zoom world. How many people? Okay.